Hey guys, Dom here and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about something that just came out not too long ago, or at least from my experience not too long ago, are these Crayola color pencils and crayons. They also have markers, but I think their markers kind of are sucky, depends on what you're doing with them. But I got the color pencils and the crayons, colors of the world, and they range from I think like about $5 to $6, maybe cheaper for the crayons. I'll put a price along the screen, but I got these. They had a ton of them at Walmart. I wanted to do a video on these because everyone's saying, are these really like the best in skin tone? And I'm like, I don't know about that. I know a lot of brands are starting to do different shades and skin tones, because there are different people who have different shades and skin tones. Besides, I think it was like peach, sienna, burnt sienna, and tan. Like, that's all I got when I was little, like those colors. Like, and I was like, ew. And just because you're on the lighter side doesn't mean you don't have like a golden undertone, or if you're on the darker side doesn't mean you don't have a pink undertone. Crayola colors of the world. Colored pencils contain 24 specially formulated colors that represent people from all around the world. Now it's even easier for kids to color themselves, their families, and friends from all over the globe. I like that they're being very forward with this. Of course, they come pre-sharpened, and of course, Crayola is non-toxic. I think it, for the most part, has always been non-toxic, you know, in case a kid just eats a crayon. I've seen that happen. So I don't know how to feel about these, because it's like, are they just doing this to be gimmicky, or is this something really moving forward? I feel like it is, but I'm not too sure. Okay guys, so I should have been sure. I did a little bit of research on the side and realized how great these crayons are and how Crayola came about. So let's get a little bit into that before we get into the artwork. These are here to stay. Crayola was founded on March 31st, 1885 by Edwin Binney and C. Harold Smith in New York, New York. The well-known wax crayon we all know and love wasn't invented until 1902 and didn't see a child's hand until 1903. Crayon's birthplace was somewhere in Europe and were made with a mixture of oil and charcoal. Then, after the oil and charcoal, powder pigments replaced the charcoal. Crayola didn't invent the crayon, they just improved upon it. A lot of people around the world in the late 1880s seem to have had the same thought and began producing crayons using wax and color pigment too. Creators such as Joseph Le Mercier, the Franklin Manufacturing Co., Charles A. Boley, and of course, Crayola, formerly called the Binney and Smith Company. Circa 1885 to 2007. I had no idea it was still called that until 2007. Wow. Crayons have been around for thousands of years, but the origin of the modern crayon is a mystery. One of the earliest mentions of the crayon can be described in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice in the early 1800s. The word itself, Crayola, was made by combining the French word cray, meaning stick of chalk, and ola for the word oleaginous, meaning oily. Colored pencils didn't start in Crayola until 1978. In 1992, Crayola introduced multicultural crayons in response to feedback received from consumers and educators. Like I said before, I remember using burnt sienna and brown and peach for skin tones, so I'm happy they took in feedback way back then too. But it gets even better. In 2020, Mimi Dixon, manager of brand equality and activation at Crayola, spearheaded the project to push the inclusion factor on the Colors of the World line. Representation and inclusion matters, especially in children, to show they are, in fact, a part of the world. Enter Victor Casali. Victor Casali was the chief chemist and managing director of R&D at MAC, co-founder of CoverFX, and the CEO of Mob Beauty. Also, Mob Beauty seems pretty cool. You should check out their site. It looks awesome and inclusive. So, little side note. It took 10 months to transform foundation colors to that of the colors of a wax crayon on paper. All skin tones were taken into consideration. Casali's work, especially from my research, is all about inclusion in skin tones. So how awesome is it to have makeup enter the art world? The similarities between the two is so interesting to me, which is why I also love makeup. But that's another story. And hey, it even helped progress an already progressive brand and color line. I love that. Even the names, even though I don't care for them, sorry, personal opinion, were thought of by the people who buy these products. I think that's better than saying light chocolate, dark chocolate. But they did choose colors like almond and rose, which to me seems to be a little bit more neutral, which is better. So, yeah, this is all I got. I thought it'd be cool to include some history behind the crayon and not just spew about the crayon and their colored pencils. So the colors that they have are medium almond, this is on the light side, medium almond, medium deep rose, light medium almond, light medium rose, light almond, light rose, light medium golden, very light almond, light golden, light, very light rose, very light golden, extra light almond. And I feel like they were trying to choose something that didn't sound very fetishizing. Like, I know, and I used to say this too, like, oh, like guys who are like dark chocolate and stuff. Like, I quit saying that because I didn't realize like how bad that sounds. But I mean, like, how else would you describe it? Like, you're not meaning it like that. Then it just sounds crazy sexist, because then it's like, oh yeah, I just want to eat them up, and it's just like, no. But also, I don't know if they could have just said deep golden and put like a number next to it. So if you ever ran out, you could just get that particular color pencil. I'm not sure. I don't know. On the dark side or deep side, there's deepest almond, extra deep golden, extra deep rose, extra deep almond, very deep almond, deep golden, medium deep golden, deep almond, very deep rose, medium deep almond, and medium golden. And I feel like they just went with undertone colors, which is fine. But I mean, they're pretty on point with the colors. I did a color swatch the other day, and I'll be sure to insert a clip. Okay guys, so here are the colored pencils up close, and I'm also going to be showing how the crayons look up close. I always think that this gold like foil thing that they started to do looks a little bit more updated, and it's so pretty. And I know Crayola is on the cheaper side of like art tools, but sometimes it can still be expensive, and I like that they at least add a little bit of detail into it. They're not like Prismacolor expensive, but they're pretty decent. They're better than rose art, so please don't ever do rose art, you guys. I'm sorry. I know it's cheap, but like rose art is not the way to go. But they're very nice. They look very harsh on the side. The colors, and here's the crazy part. They look more like skin tones when you see them on paper than they do on or in the pencil. Like on the package or in the pencil. Cause like this, it's a nice range, but people's skin tone don't look like this. And when you use it on the paper, it looks really nice. I was very shocked by how skin tone like it looked. It wasn't like a super harsh color. And these pinks that they have, like this, can be used as undertones to layer the color pencils and as blush. You know, these are supposed to be geared towards kids, but adults can use them too. So I really want, especially if you're on a budget, hold up, because they have other like Faber-Castell color pencils and Prismacolor. I own Prismacolor color pencils. I paid like almost $200 for some colored pencils. So I like that this is a great option for skin tone. Will they blend as great as Prismacolor? No, I don't think they do. But they are a great option. I mean, a lot of pro artists will use Crayola and just don't say they use Crayola. Oh. Here's another thing I noticed. The Crayola little part where you see the colored pencils, I feel like I should have noticed this. They're teeth. The colored pencils are supposed to be teeth. And this is supposed to be like a Crayola smile. I think that's a part of their like slogan, isn't it? Are you kidding me? There's more than one dark skin tone in there. I'm through the moon over that. So we'll see how this goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I thank you so very much for subscribing. If you have subscribed, if you know anybody who would like to see more art stuff, also go ahead and share this video. It would be awesome. Thank you. Let's get drawing. These color pencils aren't bad, but they're not the greatest either. These color pencils, they're okay. What? I thought you meant these color pencils. These color pencils kind of hurt my hand. I'm used to using my Prismacolor, which, I mean, you have to press down if you want it to look a certain way. But this is just... They're still nice though, honestly. This girl's face look kind of flat. I need to add like shadow or something. I'm gonna have to white out her irises and stuff because I just straightened this stuff. This one girl, she live in Korea for whatever reason, and you know, she a black girl, whatever. She was like, I'm so glad they put black girls in this commercial. And I was like, girl, me too. Because it's the black girl dancing to BTS song. I think that's the commercial they keep playing. And I'm like, I'm so happy she black. Because the amount of crap black girls get for liking BTS is absolutely ridiculous. But I'm so glad because they're like dancing on like a subway train or something. And it shows them back and forth, like them dancing, then she's dancing and stuff. You know what I like? I like these colored pencils, but I don't like the sheerness of them. But then you could add so many different colors to them. It kind of looks ashy if you don't fill it in right. It's getting that waxy buildup. That's the worst. Oh. I don't like that. I feel like it needs an outline or something. And all these browns be like red on paper. I don't understand that. Unless I'm just tripping. I don't think it's just me tripping though. Like when they make browns, they color red. Like a red brown. Like, am I tripping? I can't be tripping that bad. Don't I have a true brown in here? Even just like looking at it without her arms, her hair is like too light. It kind of helps. Not really. Yeah, and I'm trying to hurry up too. It's already 2:30. That's why I was like, oh God, I want to make sure I film this outro today, whatever. If you hear background noise or talking, sorry about that. So we're getting back into the Colors of the World color pencils. So after I have colored and felt with them and did all, you know, the great thing that artists do is just, you know, F around with stuff basically. So I have a few thoughts, pros and cons to these. So I would say that the first pro is obviously that they are easy to buy. They're easier, they're more affordable. There you go. I can't think of English words. Oh my God. They're more affordable than, say, going out and buying Prismacolor color pencils, because those, I have had my pack of Prismacolor color pencils since 2009, and those were $150. $150. $150 for color pencils. Like, oh, it's a little weird. They're expensive, but they are so smooth. And I know I'm gonna have to branch out and try another brand with that, but they have been the best. And I kept them covered and in my little containers, and they have survived since 2009. It's 2021, so they're very good quality. They still hold up. They don't brittle and break unless you sharpen them wrong, but they are awesome. But the Colors of the World color pencils obviously aren't gonna be of that stature, but for Crayola, they're pretty good. They are a bit waxy, and that's okay. I don't mind that too much until you have to like press and press and press into oblivion, which is that's kind of annoying. I want to like get into doing color pencil pictures. There's one of Namjoon that I want to draw really bad, and I want to actually color it in color pencils. I did a recent one of Jungkook, but his is like in black and white freestyle. I'm gonna start doing more portraits, and I guess I could put it somewhere on the page. It's from an old like picture of him when maybe like in 2017, but I really like it. It was just a freestyle thing. I want to get better at portraits, and also use the different methods of portraiture, so maybe I could have more time to show you that. A lot of blend work has to be done, and I'm not the greatest at that. Now for the first picture, and I'll put it on the screen. For the first picture, it's okay. It's not the greatest, it's okay. I could have did her hair a little different, but you know, not every black girl has like a tint of red in their hair. And not every black girl has like lighter brown hair. I just did it the way that I wanted, like some variation. These should be done in layers. If you're like more focused on professional art wise, and you're not just coloring just for the sake of coloring, these should be done in layers. And obviously the lighter colors should be done first. and then you build on top of that. Now, me actually pressing down hard, it wasn't really bad when you put another color on top. It actually blended in quite nicely, and I was very surprised. I don't know if it has to do with the wax or, you know, less wax, because it doesn't seem as waxy as some color pencils that I have tried. Mermaid, I made a blonde mermaid because originally the Little Mermaid was supposed to be blonde, but I think there was another cartoon where she was blonde and they didn't want it to interact or cross with that and match reference with that, so they just made her a redhead. I don't know if people know that, but yeah. It was fairly easy because I only used 2 tones on her, and I'll of course put it on the page, but yeah, I don't know if it's because it was like a peachy tone and you can't really like see so much of the paper, because I did use just printer paper. I'm thinking, what can I do to show people that this is affordable, this is doable, it's still cute, and as long as you put a little elbow grease in it, a little finesse, it'll still work. So that's what I did. I'm not the greatest with my Copic markers because the blend on her tail is not that great. But anyway, now the last page that I did it using a multimedia type of paper. I used actual art paper. So it worked out good, but at the same time, I didn't like the way that the color laid with the markers on here. And I don't know why. I feel like it worked better on printer paper. Maybe I should have just used a smooth Bristol. I don't know. Since it's a multimedia piece of paper, it is kind of got like that little bit of tooth or grit that's on the page, so maybe that's why. I don't know, but yeah, I still like it, even though I didn't mean to make her look that like scratchy dark in the middle of the page, but it still came out pretty decent. I didn't expect it to come out anything decent. And from a distance, it doesn't look bad. Like, look, okay, so like, okay, I'm gonna cover up Jimin for a second. So like, it doesn't look bad from a distance. Again, isn't my favorite medium to use when I'm making actual art. It's usually blacks and grays, or some sort of monochromatic pictures that's in like blues or reds. It's usually those type of things that I gravitate towards. So take it with a grain of salt on how I feel about these colored pencils, because, you know, they're not my forte, but I still want you guys to be able to explore this type of medium when you're creating artwork. Doesn't make sense for me to blast it and then you turn around and buy it and you actually love it and create like the best realism pictures. I've seen so many artists create the most wonderful pictures out of colored pencils. So first off, here's one of the good things. They are blendable. Just finesse it a little bit. Do the layers, like if you're in Photoshop, do the layers. Start from the bottom, get to the top. You can also use these for hair color and not just skin tone. For the browns and the brown reds, or like some of like the lighter browns or golden almonds, you can use those for like hair colors, for natural hair colors. Those work pretty good. That's what I did with the first picture, is that I used it for a hair tone. I also did it for my cartoon character. Overall, I think these colored pencils are a thumbs up. I think they're good for a beginner artist, and if you're great with colored pencils, you'll do fine with them. It just, there's a lot of coloring involved. I was using 2 different techniques. You should always like color in the area, like the way that the picture is going. And you can also cross hatch it to fill in that little white space so it doesn't look grainy. Some people love that look. Also, I was circling it in versus just going up and down and side to side and all that other stuff. So that also helps fill in some of the graininess of it. If you want to use multimedia paper, you can, but again, I would say use Bristol, use smooth Bristol. You can get away with doing that, it's fine. Bristol works for a lot of things, but again, it's a little bit more expensive. If you can't really like afford that, then I would say use regular sketch paper that's smooth, and use computer paper if you don't have sketch paper. I mean, honestly, like that's how it all starts. You start doodling on something, and usually it's like a big old pack of computer paper. You'd be surprised. There's so many artists who still use those type of tools. I call that like a cheap artist trick. Even if you're just doing like a practice sketch, because these are practice sketches for me. And as I go along, I'll be able to show you guys like what I can actually do, but of course it's gonna take hours. This probably took maybe 4 to 5 hours to do all together. The sketch, the color, the inking, on each page, not like all together of each page, not like separately 4 to 6 hours, but yeah. So I don't know, you can find also, if you need practice with making more like realism color book pages, you can find printouts. I actually found those on Pinterest for free. Always make sure that you're finding ones that are free, because you don't want to post somebody else's artwork and not give them credit, even though they drew it and you just colored it in. Like, you always want to give people credit, but like where credit is due. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.